The Dumfries Town Council meeting of Tuesday, April 15th, 2025 is hereby called to order. Madam Clerk, please call for the question. I mean, call for the call for the attendance.
Councilmember Peterson.
Present.
Councilmember Pete.
Here.
Councilmember Fields.
Aye.
Councilmember Young.
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Present.
Vice Mayor Nickerson. Mayor Wood.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. When I ask Brother Rick Watson to open us up in prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good afternoon. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time of coming together in your name, Father. Lord, I ask that you bless the leadership and all the citizens of the town of Dumfries. May the wisdom that you deposit in each and every one of these leaders here distribute and allow them to make the wisest decisions and the wisest choices for the benefit of each and every citizen of the town of Dumfries. Lord, we give you all the glory and honor. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, please be seated. Next on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. All right, move that we adopt the agenda.
Second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson.
Aye.
Councilmember Pete.
Yes.
Councilmember Fields.
Yes.
Councilmember Young.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson. Yes. Mayor Wood.
Yes.
That motion's passed. Thank you.
All right, agenda has been adopted. All right, first on our agenda is a proclamation recognizing the National Association of Women's Business Owners, the Greater DC chapter. Whereas the National Association of Women Business Owners, founded in 1975 with the inaugural chapter, business owners being founded for what has become the nation's leading organization for women entrepreneurs. Whereas over the past 5 decades, the Greater DC chapter has provided invaluable advocacy, education, networking, and resources to support the success and growth of women-owned business. Whereas the Greater DC chapter represents women business owners across Maryland, Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, fostering an inclusive and thriving business environment for entrepreneurs in the region. Whereas their dedication and hard work of the members of the Greater DC chapter have been instrumental in advocating for policies that remove barriers for women entrepreneurs, including the passage of the Women's Business Ownership Act, which eliminated discriminatory lending practices and established resources like the Women's Business Center program. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of Dumfries do hereby recognize and we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the National Association of Women Business Owners, the Greater DC chapter, acknowledging their outstanding contributions to the economic landscape and the empowerment of women business owners across our nation. Signed by order of the Dumfries Town Council, Mayor Derek R. Wood. Ladies look pretty young.
Oh, hey, go ahead.
In the middle.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. Awesome. Thank you. Oh, hold on. You go get that, Nicole.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor Wood and the council for this proclamation. My name is Nicole Chamblin, and I represent the Greater DC Chapter's Board of directors, and we thank you for this proclamation. Greater DC is the founding chapter, and thanks to the work of women many years ago who were denied entrance into a Chamber of Commerce meeting simply because they were women, they have created a space where women across the nation are able to advocate, learn, and grow in their leadership. We'd love to invite you all to come and celebrate our 50th anniversary with us this summer, the first week of June in DC, where it all began. We have a week-long celebration that is open to everyone, our ladies in the National Association of Women Business Owners and our NABROs who support us as well. We'd love to see you there.
And those who is wondering if that's the chef at 1609, no, that's her daughter. Don't worry. All right, Madam Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will be presenting two proclamations in honor of Autism Appreciation Month. As we know worldwide is that April is recognized as Autism Awareness Month. However, in Dumfries, we actually several years ago started celebrating Autism Appreciation Month. And the reason behind that was that we had a movement that was going to go from awareness to acceptance, and it kind of blocked there. But then self-advocates started saying, we don't need awareness, we don't need acceptance, we have all of that. What we need is appreciation, and we need people to accept us for who we are and appreciate what we bring into the community. So we began not, although worldwide it is Autism Awareness Month, we appreciate autism and we celebrate the individuals in our community who are on the spectrum and their contributions to making our society whole. So first, proclamation, I'm actually going to present to Ms. Sherry Stewart in honor of Autism Appreciation Month for her work in the community. We have there's been a struggle with making sure our kids have spaces where they can celebrate and they can enjoy themselves and they can have fun. And Ms. Stewart has spent her entire duration as an advocate in this community, ensuring our kids have spaces through things like Sid's World and also working very closely with our community partners. So without further ado, whereas autism is a lifelong developmental disability that affects millions of individuals and their families, impacting communication, social interaction, and behavior in unique ways. And whereas Autism Appreciation Month is observed in each April to promote understanding, acceptance, and inclusion for individuals on the autism spectrum while recognizing their significant contributions to society. And whereas the town of Dumfries is committed to fostering an inclusive community that supports individuals with autism and their families by promoting awareness, advocacy, access to essential resources and services. And whereas through education, early intervention, and community support, individuals with autism can reach their full potential and lead fulfilling lives. And whereas it is essential to celebrate the strengths, talents, and achievements of individuals with autism while working to remove barriers and promote acceptance in all aspects of life. Now, therefore, the Town of Dumfries Council do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Autism Appreciation Month and encourage all residents to learn more about autism, support inclusion efforts, and help build a more accepting and understanding community. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand in the cause of seal of the town of Dumfries by order of the town council signed by Mayor Derek Wood. This is yours. Thank you. No, stop it.
One more. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Sure, I will. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you to the town. This was very a surprise, but Sydney's Choice, that's the name of my group.
Speak in the mic so that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought my mouth was picking up. I'm sorry. Sydney's Choice is a social event space that I've created for children with autism. And I say children, but it's really for the high school, young adult level. We all know there are plenty of things for the smaller children to do, but it's nothing once you turn 18. So I have created an event once a month for these children to get together in a safe space and do things that make them happy. So when you see Sydney's Choice, just throw a hand, clap, or something, because I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And the next proclamation is actually going to go to the A Street Bruins of Forest Park High School. That's right. And so I have had the blessing of working closely with the Bruins. My son is a student in the program, and I've seen them pour into the students in the Dumfries area, and just making sure that these kids have, these young adults have the tools that they need to lead successful lives, and preparing them for the workforce, preparing them for community interactions, and just how to, reach their full potential. And I cannot think of a better staff of educators than what we have over at Forest Park. So again, without further ado, because I can talk forever. Whereas Forest Park High School's A Street Bruins program is dedicated to providing exceptional educational opportunities and support for students with diverse learning needs. And whereas the A Street Bruins program fosters an inclusive and supportive learning environment, ensuring that every student receives the necessary resources, guidance, and encouragement to reach their full potential. And whereas the educators, staff, and administrators of Forest Park High School's A Street Bruins program demonstrate unwavering dedication, compassion, and commitment to student success, preparing them for independent and fulfilling futures. And whereas the program emphasizes skill development, community engagement, and academic excellence, empowering students with the confidence and ability to thrive beyond the classroom. And whereas the Forest Park High School's A Street Bruins program embodies the values of equity, accessibility, and opportunity, enriching the entire school community through its advocacy for inclusive education. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of Dumfries do hereby recognizes and commend the Forest Park High School A Street Bruins program for its outstanding contributions to education, inclusion, and student achievement. And witness thereof, hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the town of Dumfries be affixed on this day of 15 April 2025 by order of the Dumfries Town Council, signed by Mayor Derek Wood. And I would ask the staff representative from A Street to come join me up front, please. Mr. C.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? This is for you guys.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Your son's also about it.
Thank you. I think so.
How did
He's good.
he did? I missed him.
He'll be back next week. Don't worry. You don't have to listen.
1, 2, 3. 1 more. All right, thank you.
Stay together. Yes, the same.
Go for it.
Gotta love our educators, one of those thankless type of jobs they do. Give them another round of applause. Next, a proclamation honoring Arbor Day. Whereas 1872 is a special day that was set aside for planting trees called Arbor. And Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees back in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the United States and the world, and whereas trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing soil erosion, cutting heating and cooling costs and energy needs, moderating the temperature of cleaning the air, producing life-giving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are renewable resources giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. Not to mention Mayor Wood. No, that's a joke. It's not in here. Whereas trees in the town increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas the town of Dumfries will plant trees to commemorate Arbor Day in 2025. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the town of Dumfries do hereby proclaim April 25th as Arbor Day in the town of Dumfries, and we urge all citizens to celebrate, to support the efforts to protect our trees and our woodland, and furthermore, all citizens are urged to plant more trees to promote the well-being of our environment for this and future generations. Signed, Mayor Derek R. Wood, by order of the council. Yeah, we're looking forward. Town manager, let us know when the tree get planted. All right, proclamation honoring Earth Day. Whereas Earth Day is observed annually on April 22nd, I thought it was April 20th. Okay. And the global theme for Earth Day 2025 is Our Power, Our Planet. 20 million people marched on Earth Day in 1970. It sparked a modern environmental movement leading to cleaner air, water, wildlife protections. And 2025 marks the 55th anniversary of Earth Day, double nickel. And to honor the milestone, supporters are asked to unite behind renewable energy with the goal of tripling the global generation of clean electricity by 2030. And whereas everyone is urged to explore smart energy choices for their families and to advocate for an expedited and rapid development or deployment of renewable energy production from local and national government, industries, and businesses. And whereas renewable energy comes from the replenished sources like the sun and wind, which do not produce greenhouse gases and therefore do not drive climate change and reduce our reliance on fossil fuels, which damage both our environment and human health. And since 2019, the town of Dumfries has issued permits for solar installations at about 49 locations within town, supporting the efforts to promote renewable energy use. And the town of Dumfries sponsors a community cleanup day on April 5th to include where we had 72 volunteers who removed 84 bags of trash and debris, and it totaled well over 756 pounds of garbage that was picked up along the major corridors of the town. And the town will continue to sponsor additional cleanups throughout the year. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of Dumfries proclaims April 22nd, 2025 as Earth Day in the town of Dumfries, and we urge all the citizens to celebrate Earth Day by supporting the use of renewable energy production and by supporting efforts to clean our earth, our air, and our water. Signed, Mayor Derek R. Wood, by order of the council. Right, that concludes our awards and proclamations, and we'll move into the approval of the minutes from our budget work session, our joint meeting with the Town Council and Planning Commission, and the regular Town Council meeting. Okay, I move that we accept the meeting's minutes as second. All right, it's been moved and second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Town clerk, I noticed that the format of the minutes is different than what we're used to seeing. It looks like it's a little more at a higher level, more at a bird's eye view versus the granularity we're used to seeing. And I want to know, is there a reason that we changed that? Because what's missing for me is when I look back at these meeting minutes, we have discussion, and though it says in here that there was discussion among council members or what have you, oftentimes there are directives that come out of those discussions. And I think it's important that those discussions, especially when there are directives, are captured at a granular level so that if someone goes back to review these meeting minutes, we have record of points that were made, opposition to different motions or what have you, and who made those points.
So usually with the minutes, I always put directives in there. So if someone asks for something to be done, or if it's from council, those are already put in the minutes. I never disregard those out of it. If there's something telling staff or something to do something, that's also put in the minutes. I never exclude those. But if it's just conversation and it's not changing or going towards the motion or anything, I don't put that in there. Okay. But if you would like, I can. But usually, yes, I do put all directives in there. So if it's asking for something or anything like that, I do put that in there so that it's able to be going back and look at it in the past if it need be.
Okay, I'll go back and look at the ones in the past because I thought that you did actually capture different points that were made by council members for matter of the record.
If it changed, if that whole discussion when they stated it included all that, I just put the whole thing in there so that it wouldn't confuse anybody if I just only put the directions in it. If you explained it before you sent the direction, then I put that whole segment in there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, seeing no more discussion, it's been motioned and second to adopt the minutes as presented. Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed. Thank you.
All right, next is a citizen comment period. Are there any citizens signed up to speak today?
No citizens signed.
All right. Is this for the public hearing or is this for the general? Okay, General. Okay, please come and give your name and address, and for the future reference, we do make sure you sign in ahead for us. All right. So this.
Well, that was a procedure, but I definitely will do that. Thank you. My name is Kimberly Palacios, and I'm at 18319 Candace Drive in Triangle. And I would just like to ask the mayor and the council to increase police presence on Fraley and Richmond Highway, and also down here on Main during high volume traffic times, because a lot of times people are making right turns and left turns over the double yellow lines all the time. So that's all I wanted to make a comment on.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right. That concludes our citizen comment time. We will now move to reports and presentation. Our first one is a presentation from Dr. Stan Jones, an overview of action in community through service, their programs and service. Dr. Jones, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Members, mayor, citizens, first I want to thank you for indulging me for a few minutes to give an overview of ACTS. I did bring handouts that include our FY24 report. So I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to be quick, but I'm going to pause for a second to talk a little bit about the impact for the citizens of Dumfries specifically. So for those of you who don't know, ACTS was founded in 1969 by 13 churches that wrapped their services around a family that lost a home in a fire. Those 13 churches are mentioned there, and there's a brief overview of our history. So we're in our 57th year as a local nonprofit, which is quite remarkable. This is the data I really want to talk about. So this gives you an opportunity to kind of study the impact that we've had here in the town of Dumfries. So you see emergency assistance services. Those are clients that may need help with utility bills. You see the rapid rehousing program. Those are folks that we get from temporary shelter. We have a cohort of landlords that we work with locally to get people out of shelters into stable rental housing. You see our Beverly Warren services. Most of you are very familiar with that shelter. It's an 18-bed facility. And then you see the number of clients we serve for domestic violence and sexual assault. I'll just pause to mention that April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. In 2023, there were 72,000 calls in Virginia for victims of domestic violence or sexual assault. Our Hunger Prevention Center is probably what we're best known for. I won't go through all the data with you, but I will just mention that the town of Dumfries residents comprise 14% of all of our clients. So I'm sure that's information you're not aware of, so I wanted to share that with you. And let me also mention this. I arrived as CEO of ACTS in September of 23. At that time, we were feeding about 730 families. Now we're feeding about 1,000. So the demand increases and the resources diminish. This is just the FY24 annual data on the food pantry. Over 10,000 families served over 630 pounds of food. Again, I've mentioned our Beverly Warren and our rapid rehousing program. I did not talk specifically about affordable housing. We own 2 homes, or we manage 2 homes is a better way to say that, in the town of Dumfries that we acquired from Prince William County. And in those 2 homes, we take families that can rent from us for 3 years. We work with them to get them stable economically and financially, and we prepare them to be able to purchase a home after they've rented with us for 3 years. One of those homes, I'm sad to say, is in disrepair right now. That's a relationship we have with Prince William County. And when we acquired the property, we did not acquire money to maintain the properties. So we are doing our own private fundraising, but we'd love to partner with the county on some of those projects. Emergency assistance, let me just let you know, we don't judge, we help. If you get behind in utilities, or rent, and you need help with, particularly with your utilities and you're a citizen in the town of Dumfries, we help you. I'll give you one quick story. There's a epidemiologist that lives here in Prince William County many years ago that stopped working to take care of his elderly mother. He got behind on his mortgage. He came to ACTS. We assisted him. Now every year he donates significantly to ACTS. So we don't judge, we help. Our thrift store, I'm going to pause for a second to talk about the thrift store. Mayor Wood and I have had lots of conversations about the thrift store as you envision the town of Dumfries in your Main Street plan. You may not know it's located in the northern end of, as soon as you enter Dumfries, you can't miss it. I'm a man of faith, so let me just share something that's happened in the last year. We've had a snake infestation this year. We've had flooding this year. And in November this year, we had a vehicle drop into the building, if you didn't see that. Again, I'm a man of faith. I only say that to say that the thrift store has been around for about 30 years. For us, it has been a main revenue source. It is not as profitable these days for a couple reasons, some of which I just mentioned. It's closing, but also I think there's a lot more competition in the area for thrift stores. I know there are a number of local nonprofits who've closed their thrift stores. So I would love to have an opportunity to discuss a new vision. Again, the mayor and I have had some preliminary conversations around that, but the thrift stores there, our revenue has decreased dramatically over the past couple of years. And then domestic violence services, just a quick data, some things you don't know. If you're a victim of domestic violence and you go to file a protective order in Prince William County and Manassas, we have 3 court-appointed advocates that are on the non-court side to assist you in the process of dealing with domestic violence and filing a protective order. We accompany you to court. We work with you throughout your case. We do the same thing with sexual assault. So you see there in FY24, we assisted 3,555 individuals of domestic violence. Those are just the ones that have been reported. If you know anything about what's happening in Prince William County, you know last year there was a case of a woman that went missing, Monta Kafla, that's in Manassas Park. That trial will occur sometime this week. Again, I'll just mention we're the only entity in Prince William County providing domestic violence and sexual assault services. We do have a program called the Lethality Assessment Protocol. This is a partnership we have with Prince William County. When a victim is in imminent danger, they call the police department department calls us, and we get them in shelter. And you'll see last year we had 444 calls of victims in imminent danger. I'm afraid to say that there is not enough safe housing for victims of domestic violence and imminent danger in Prince William County. That's a real problem in most communities, certainly a problem in Prince William County. And then our sexual assault services, again, there's our data for last year. One of the things that we do, we've partnered with the county this past October and the October before that for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We jointly held an event with you also. We certainly appreciate that partnership, and we're open to opportunities to expand any education we can do for our community related to sexual assault or domestic violence. Those are our numbers on community outreach for FY24. We do have a 24-hour crisis line for domestic violence and sexual assault. So those are our numbers related to that. We need your help. We always need your help. If you'd like to volunteer, we certainly could use your help. Those are just a variety of ways you can volunteer at any of our programs. And there's some specialized volunteer opportunities if you want to do hospital accompaniment with someone who's experiencing sexual assault, or if you want to accompany someone to court. Oftentimes, they just need someone to listen. And of course, this is the most significant thing I'm here to talk about tonight, and that is how you can help. Most localities, or many of the localities in Prince William County, we have a relationship where they make a financial donation to ACTS. I know you're close to the end of your budget season, but I'm happy to discuss with you how we might support the residents of Dumfries in a number of different ways, including in-kind contributions. And then I want to mention that date is actually wrong. Our Walk is our annual fundraising event. It's actually October 19, 2025. So forgive me for the typo. It will be held at Stonebridge. And we encourage you as a group of elected officials and citizens to participate in that event. A nice fun day for the family. Certainly spread the word regarding ACTS. And then there's how you can contact us. So with that, you have as a handout, our annual report for FY24. I'm sure this is not a question and answer period, but if you have questions, I'd be happy to respond to them. I think I stayed within my 15 minutes.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you for the presentation. Having served as both a sexual assault victims advocate and a domestic violence victims advocate, the work that you all do in the community is commendable.
Thank you.
I thank you and your team over at ACTS for your service to our town of Dumfries community.
Thank you very much. And we appreciate the event we had in October was phenomenal. So we look forward to continuing to do that with you.
Councilman Fields.
Yeah, thank you for doing what you do. And if former Councilman Brown was here, he said I better not say this. But during my years as a police officer here in the town of Dumfries and responding to domestic violence calls and issues, ACTS has definitely been there. The safe houses, I was thinking it before you said it. We do need more.
Yeah.
I know there's one close by, and I tell you, honestly, I couldn't remember how to get there to save my life.
Good.
Because it's protected.
Yeah. Yes.
And I want people to know we have some of the best service you can ever imagine for victims of domestic violence. So,
yes, sadly, I'm afraid to report that we actually have two. We have one that's located in the eastern end of the county and one in the western end of the county. The one in the western end of the county closed in 2020. And so I say that with optimism because we're working with Prince William County to reopen that safe house. That's a 13-bed facility, so a very large facility. But for whatever reason, it closed in 2020, and we're going through the process with the county with a special use permit to reopen that. So that's my single biggest challenge I inherited as CEO is to get that reopened.
Thank you for doing what you do. You guys are outstanding.
Thank you, Dr. Jones, for taking time to really present to us. The awareness and the information and education is important, but who you give a seat at your table also matters. And so, I say that without saying it. You are in the town of Dumfries, and you got a board of probably 6 or 7 that'll want to participate and get in the room with you to help advocate for some of your needs and services. So,
Mayor, can I share one of our first conversations?
Go ahead.
So, and you know what I'm going to say. So, one of my very first conversations with our honorable mayor was, I noticed coming in the door that we're located in Dumfries. As far as I know, we've always been located in Dumfries, and we didn't even mention Dumfries on our website. So I kind of scratched my head on that one when I arrived. That has been changed. If you go, we launched a new website in January. We mentioned every single community in Prince William County, and we're proud to be located in the town of Dumfries. So, but that was, I think you were scratching your head too, Mayor. So I just thought that was remarkable that we didn't mention it.
I was just saying, what we were saying.
Right.
So, so thank you for making the changes. And remember, again, representation matters.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right. Next on our agenda is a treasurer's report. Ms. Karen Upple, our town treasurer, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and member of the council. I'm here to present third quarter of the Treasury report for the town of Dumfries for fiscal year 2024 and 2025. On the first page, I have checking, savings, and Virginia investment pool account, beginning balance as of January 1st, 2025, as well as ending balance March 31st, 2025. We have all the deposit we have received, the disbursement, and the total town fund as of March 31st, 2025 is $10,980,092.50. We also have received $46,515.75 as interest on our general demand account. We also have received on our SLAP account monthly interest $2,056.05, and we also have received on our savings account, which is on the report, and we also have received on Virginia investment pool account income dividend fund as of January through March $17,742.59. The next page 3, 4, 5, and 6, we have all the deposit the town has received, description of the deposit, and the amount. I also like to point out that we have received from the Casino Rose and Rosie from January through March, $1,058,076.14. We also have received DMV revenue for the month of March through January through March, $72,247.38. And I'd like to mention also that the deadline for the real ID enforcement is May 7th, 2025, which is next month. Page 7 through 12, we have all the disbursement, vendor paid amount, and the description. Any questions?
I mean, you were very thorough. I'm gonna yield my comments. Councilman Fields?
First thing I got to say is wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I have one question.
Yes,
How
sir.
long have you been our treasurer now?
It's going to be a year and a half.
Outstanding.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Keep on doing what you do.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
I have a quick question, Ms. Karen. Do we have any plans with our DMV Select to offer ID services, or the fact that we don't, is that because we are incapable, or is that not something that's offered at an annex location?
It has offered in a special cases, like we are having for the autism ID card coming in June 24. So I can request a special on circumstances.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Fields? Councilman Pete?
Great report, guys. That was very nice to detail. I have no questions. Just wanted to highlight that of how into detail you guys really did. I don't think we've seen it like that yet, but that was good. Thank you, guys. Very detailed.
Thank you.
All right. With the May 7th deadline coming up, was going to be my question on Real ID. Are we able to get the mobile ID? Being that I know we're a DMV Select, we have done it in the past when the Real ID deadline was coming up. Are we able to get them to come down?
Unfortunately, DMV does not have the mobile units anymore.
They got rid of it?
Yes.
So how, okay. Whoa, I'm scratching my head. So how are we doing the June 24th event?
That is a special request from the headquarters, and which I am and Mr. Wines are working together, so they're making a special arrangement.
But just for that one day, so everybody got to go stand in line down at Canton Hill if they want to get their Real ID before May 7th, which they have extremely long lines. What's your turn time downstairs now when people pull a ticket?
We are at least 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes.
Wow. And your friends at Canton Hill, what do you think their turn time is?
Well, we are helping the Woodbridge and the Stafford while they're busy with the Real ID. We are helping customers with the registration and title transactions.
Yeah. So that's just a plug for our DMV Select here in Dumfries. As long as you have nothing with the ID, you can come here, get in and out in 5 minutes. Thank you for your treasurer's report.
Thank you.
Increase. All right. Next is a presentation from the town's lobbyist, McGuire Woods.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. My name is Travis Blankenship. I'm a Vice President at McGuire Woods Consulting. I first just want to say thank you for working with us through the RFP process. As of April 1, the town of Dumfries has retained us to represent you both in Richmond and in DC for lobbying services to advance your legislative priorities. Just a quick overview of what we'll be talking about this evening. Give you a little bit of background about McGuire Woods and the role that you've hired us to play for you, and then give you a little bit of a background landscape both at the state and federal level. We have a full team of full-service lobbyists working for you both in Richmond and in DC. A few of us are here in the room with you tonight, and then a few of us were unable to make it. But on the screen is our full team that you have working for you. A little bit about McGuire Woods Consulting. We've been around for just over 26 years now. We're a subsidiary of the McGuire Woods Law Firm. We're the largest lobbying firm in Richmond. We have a presence in most of the Southeast, Texas, California, Illinois, and then in DC. What you've hired us to do in our role in deliverables is really to, as I said, advance the agenda that you all set forth for your legislative priorities, both at state and federal levels. Beyond that, we're your eyes and ears in Richmond and in DC, both to look for opportunities for the town, but also to look for challenges that may be coming down the line. We'll facilitate meetings both with your congressional delegation, the 2 U.S. senators, and then your state delegation to Richmond. We'll offer strategic advice about deadlines that are approaching, opportunities that are on the forefront, and any advice that we can provide to help you succeed. And then we'll, of course, deliver regular updates. And just as a kind of a housekeeping, the town manager and I will work closely together, and she's the way to reach me if you need anything from us. I'm the project lead. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Preston Bryant, to give you an overview of the state landscape. And then Tyler will wrap up with the federal. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, my name is Preston Bryant with McGuire Woods Consulting. I've been with McGuire Woods for just 15 years now. I have a local and state government background as well. I have appreciate all that you do on behalf of your citizens. Just looking, just a couple of political notes. The political landscape influences policy, as we all know, so we don't separate the two. This is the governor's last full year in office. This past session that has just concluded was a relatively congenial one, fairly quiet. For the most part, there were few dominant issues. For example, the governor had proposed $1 billion in tax relief, and the House and Senate quickly agreed. They agreed to do it in a different way, but it was not controversial at all. We're headed into an election year. I'll say something about that in a moment. Virginia operates on a 2-year budget, so this was our short session, 46 days as opposed to 60. And you can see there that the House and the Senate, it's just very marginal in terms of majorities. So the elections that are coming up this year, it's just the House that's up this year, not the Senate. But you can see the elections will matter. There's just about, and this is fairly typical, whether it's a short session or a long session. That is, whether it's 46 days or 60 days, there's usually still about 2,500 bills, 2,700 bills, somewhere in that neighborhood, bills and resolutions. Most of them do not make it. For example, of the roughly 1,900 bills there, not counting resolutions, the governor was sent 915 for action, to sign, veto, or amend. He happened to veto about 160, and he happened to amend about 160, coincidentally. We were not working for you directly this past session, but we do note some of your items that you had. Your charter change bill, I noticed today, has already been signed into law. It goes into effect July 1. In the budget, that was so much before you, the pari-mutuel betting, the wagering revenues, and the restructuring of that. That is in the budget. It was not a standalone bill, but it was in the budget. And it was a standalone bill, but now it's in the budget, and the governor still needs to act on that. The $1 million in state funding to help on the Quantico Creek flood mitigation, that is in the budget, and we're waiting to see how the governor acts on that. The $500,000 for the mobile command center, that was only a Senate budget amendment, not a House also, and it did not make the final cut on the Senate side. So that did not go forward. The governor has until May 2nd to make final decisions, so we'll know within a couple of weeks. As mentioned, and as we all know, this is an election year statewide plus the House. There is talk of perhaps a special session at some point to deal with all that is the the federal policy and budget changes that are going on. So there may be a special session of the legislature to look at the fallout and the impacts of federal policy and budget changes and how they affect Virginia and her localities. And we will begin preparing for next year. Typically, when we work with local governments, we will help you beginning, late summer or so. We should be thinking about what your legislative agenda will be for next session. Start finalizing that in early fall. And typically, we would like to arrange a meeting between the council and Senator McPike and Delegate Munden King and Delegate Torian, if he wishes as well, and others to talk about going into 2026. Typically, we would have those conversations in November or early December or something like that. So with that, let me say this. The House and the Senate have, you are inching up into Northern Virginia. You probably do have federal employees here in your zip codes. And so the House and the Senate have both set up special committees to begin looking at what we might say is the fallout from the changes going on in Washington in terms of their impacts on federal employees and revenue streams, the federal revenue streams to Virginia, and how that might in turn impact localities. And you can see there on the House, that's the scope of work for the House committee. You can see there that about of the 11 members, about 4 are from Stafford North, and there's another 4 from Hampton Roads, which are the 2 big federal centers in Virginia. And then similarly, this subcommittee in the Senate, there are a couple from Hampton, 2 from Hampton Roads, 1 from Fairfax. So 3 of the 6 are still from the 2 major federal worker areas in Virginia. So we will watch their work and try to translate that to you as they determine how these actions impact Virginia's localities, and especially those in the Northern Virginia region. With that, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Tyler McNeil, to discuss the federal landscape.
Hello, Mr. Mayor and Town Council. My name is Tyler McNeil. I'm Assistant Vice President at McGuire Woods Consulting. I will be on your federal team along with 2 of my colleagues, Clayton Cox, who's an AVP, who is a Senior Vice President at McGuire Woods Consulting, and Scott Binkley, who's another Senior Vice President at McGuire Woods Consulting. I'm going to give you a high-level overview of the federal government along with your congressional delegation makeup, but first I want to take a moment to say that I am a lifelong Prince William County resident. I graduated from Hilton High School. I believe the Bruins have left the building, so could have kept on my Bulldogs tie coming in. So as I mentioned, as for the House of Representatives, it's 435 members. There's 220 Republicans right now, 213 Democrats, and there are 2 vacancies due to deaths. On the Senate side, there's 100 senators, 53 Republicans, 45 Democrats, and 2 independents that typically vote with Democrats. As for your specific delegation, you have your 2 senators, Senator Warner and Senator Kaine, along with newly elected Congressman Eugene Vindman. You were part of the 7th Congressional District, and as you know, former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger has now resigned or retired from office. I want to talk briefly about the new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, as you all are aware. This is dealing with the federal spending reductions as well as federal workforce reductions. Our team will work hard to monitor those changes and make sure that the council is aware of them as they're coming and any threats to your residents, your funding streams before it happens for planning purposes. Additionally, and for the remainder of 2025, Congress is going to be focused on the budget process as well as reconciliation. As for in the pipeline currently, congressionally directed spending or FY26 community project funding earmarks, as you may be familiar with. Due dates are approaching very soon, so Senators Kaine and Warner's due date is this Friday, April 18th, and then Representative Eugene Vindman's due date is April 24th. Final comments on the federal side is we really want to serve as I was close to the time. We really want to serve as your eyes and ears on the Hill, as my colleague mentioned earlier, and making sure that we're assisting you with messaging and that your priorities are heard and that they align long-term with your federal delegation's priorities as well. So I'll pass it back over to, well, hold for questions if the council has questions.
All right. Council, any questions, comments? Councilman P.
Oh, thank you, Tyler, for the update. I just want to real quick, thank you guys for your presentation also as we moving forward with this. You referenced to that you guys are going to be watching closely to the reductions on the federal spending and the workforce reductions. As we moving forward, could you also keep us in line with some open opportunities for us to advance in those avenues also as they are doing their reductions, please?
Absolutely. So part of our work will be grant monitoring and making sure that we're able to look and recommend additional funding streams for you as we understand your priorities.
All right. Thank you much, and thank you for going to Hilton High School.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. I look forward to working with you. All right. Next on our agenda is the town manager's report. Town manager, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of Town Council. I will try and be brief. I have a few highlights from the various different departments. All payments in the DMV have been processed accounts payable have been processed within 21 days. Currently, our real estate tax collection stands at 75%. This is a mid-year projection. In our Community Plan and Development Department, the director has met with the owners of the Dumfries Shopping Center and discussed the prospective new restaurant. It is probably going to be a seafood restaurant there. The Dumfries Overlook Park is on track to open this summer, and the team and I will be touring the site on April 30th. Moving down in human resources, we have 2 new maintenance workers. One was a full-time and one is a part-time. We've conducted interviews for our recreation and civic engagement manager who started this past Monday. Information technology has blocked over 10,000 security threats and mitigated 8. Our website development is currently in progress, and he has completed a security assessment for Town Hall as well as the community center. Police Department has responded to over 771 calls, and they hosted the senior luncheon. In our Public Information Office, she's issued 3 press releases, one for the expungement clinic, job fair, and nutrition program resolution. Also, we had 930 plus downloads of our Dumfries Citizen Connect app and 271 active accounts. Social media and Facebook had over 582 different likes and comments. Public Works inspected 32 inspections, 18 permits were processed, and 14 were issued. I also wanted to make sure we remember our Director of Public Works, James Nichols, who had a loss of his wife last week, and that we all send him our condolences and make sure we're supportive of him at this time. In Recreation and Civic Engagement, the Farmers Market grand opening will be April 19th at Town Hall in the parking lot from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Easter egg hunt will be April 19th at Ginn Park from 10:30 to 12:30 p.m. And Autism Appreciation Day will be April 26th at Garrison Park. Also, I'd like to highlight over the last week that I attended a conference for public-private partnerships, which actually as an annual event will bring together leaders from the public and private sectors to explore collaboration and approaches for different infrastructure projects, which is extremely important as we are looking forward to our waterfront project. I thank your mayor and council. If you have questions, I'm here.
Okay, council, any questions? Councilman Fields.
Yes, this is going to tie in, town manager, if you allow. And if it's not the time to say, we'll get that another time. But this is going to tie in your report, the treasurer's report on one entity, and maybe our police chief and police department. From what I heard from the treasurer's report, our Rose and Rose is doing very well.
Yes.
Okay. if I may, through you to the chief, our biggest complaint or fear, I'm not going to say complaint, was that the Rose and the Rosies was going to call or may call for extra thefts and crimes and traffic and accidents and things like that. To the chief, is that okay? Has that happened, sir?
There has been some. So as far as calls for service at the Rose, compared to the Rosies that's at the shopping center, there has been an uptick. We've had a few arrests for drunken publics, and it seems most of it's coming from the bar area, the sports bar area. No traffic or any other issues besides that.
That is wonderful. It's only a couple. But what I'm getting to is, sir and ma'am, is that we had so much commotion on, oh, it's going to bring this and it's going to bring that. And we're looking at it at the first 3 months, over $1 million. And it was cold and snowy and icy, and people just stayed inside. But, oh, it's going to bring so much crime and so much accidents. We got a traffic light right there, this beautiful intersection. It may get backed up during normal times. But then we had people that, no dice for Dumfries. And I would say if you don't stay in Dumfries, mind your own business and stuff like that. Let Dumfries handle Dumfries' business. But if y'all been listening, Dumfries is handling Dumfries' business. So thank you so much.
Vice Mayor.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. Town Manager, in reference to your conference, and I know that we are moving forward this evening with a public hearing about the ordinance to create the EDA. As it pertains to the waterfront property, has the council provided you a consensus on whether or not we are going to use the EDA or a public-private, it's like a tongue twister, a P3 with the development of the waterfront?
No, I have not received any direction from council on that, ma'am.
Okay, I asked that because there was.
I think it did in the budget. There is
The budget directed me to do
create a small area plan to go out, put a master plan. So we haven't created anything yet on the waterfront.
So I believe what I heard was the council give me direction as to whether or not we're using an EDA or a P3, the process in which we're going to develop the project.
Right. So back to my question. So we did not provide you direction on that, is my understanding. And I asked that because I believe that there's been some talk. There was a news article today, a news interview, as a matter of fact, where it was said that we were moving forward with an EDA to help with developing the waterfront. And I'm trying to understand where that came from if the council has not provided the direction on how we were going to do that. I know that there was discussion. I know we are creating an EDA, but I don't recall the council reaching a consensus that that's the direction we're going to go, which has now been reported broadly to the news. And that's concerning because I don't understand where that information came from.
Okay, ma'am. Well, I can't apologize for something that I didn't say, so I'm going to have to say I need some direction from council as to what direction we're going on that.
So could you provide the council with the pros and cons to whether or not a P3 or an EDA would be the best way to go, and what staff recommendation? I think it's important that before any of us as individuals speak on things so broadly, that we make sure that we're putting correct information out there so that there is no lack of transparency from the dais for the public, and so that, because the public deserves accurate information. And at this rate, speaking individually and making broad comments about a direction that hasn't been determined is concerning.
Yes, ma'am, I can put together the pros and cons versus the P3 and the EDA. Yes, I can, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I could say, I did the interview, and the interview talked nothing about the EDA doing the waterfront. It talked about the capabilities of what an EDA can do. So go back and listen to any comments on what I said that the EDA could do. There's no statement written or said publicly where I said this is what the EDA can do, that is going to do. I say here is what it has the ability to do by establishing it. So those are my words. It's actually written on my website. If you go to Derek R. Wood, look at the blog, read it in detail, and you'll see I mentioned it can help projects like the Main Street and the waterfront. I never said this is what the EDA can do. So that is what is used out of context. So the context is both in written form and in verbal form.
Would you please go back and review, and if the news made that statement by mischaracterizing what the mayor said, then we need to do a press release to correct that, because it's not okay for the misinformation to be put out there that way.
Yes, I can. May I ask what channel interviewed? I'm not sure.
It was Fox.
Fox 5? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, my questions on your report deals with the projects. Where are we at with the development next door? Because I didn't see it. All of the permits, are they ready to break ground?
Okay. So
what are some of the timelines?
sure, give me 1 second. I do have that information, and I apologize if it wasn't on my report. Oh, come on now. Just give me 2 seconds to get beyond last week. Okay. I just reported on the Dumfries Overlook Park, Rose Phase 2 Conference Center. Traffic study is required as of 2029 is the first step. Traffic study will have to be concluded after.
Excuse me, did you say 2029?
2029. That's what my notes say here. This traffic study will have to be conducted after the park opens, so it should be 2025. Got
Okay,
it.
all right.
So, Wawa, construction and operation of the convenience store and gas sales and EVs charging is currently under construction. Time frame is 25 for the pumps to be installed. Harbor at Quantico Creek, 125 units, age-restricted multi-use family housing and daycare community center will be under construction in 2026. The Harbor Reserve, which is 152 townhouses in Prince William County with the interest in town of Dumfries, under construction in 2026. The Arias on Main, 54 townhouses and 220 multifamily units. The site plans have been approved. Land disturbance permit is under review, and a conditional letter of map revisions from FEMA is required. Moving down to Town Square, Phase 4, 38 units, income restricted multifamily, and 22 unit income restricted multifamily 5,000 square foot commercial space is waiting site plan submission. The delivery is looking at 2026 for that. For 17698 Main Street, which is 12 units of multifamily housing, is pending ARB review, and COA needs additional ARB members. We need additional ARB members for a quorum, but that is looking at 2028. The Ever Ready commercial space, which is 23,810 square feet in a 3-story building. The site plan is under review, and comments were sent back to the applicant. That is looking like a 2027 project, sir. Moving down to the comp plan update, you already did that. Route 1 widening, expansion, deeds and plats for the dedication of the property and easements are currently under review and should be scheduled for town council's approval in early May of 2025. And that's between the 2026 and 2031 development. Moving down, okay, and then that's it.
If you could just send us that addendum,
definitely.
thank you. So I know we couldn't write all that down that fast.
I can send it to you.
All right, thank you for those updates. All right, any further questions on the report provided? All right.
1 second there, Mr. Mayor, for clarity.
Question from a citizen about this?
No.
1 second for clarity there, town manager. Which project was that on again?
Say that again.
Which project was that on again?
Oh, that was the listing of all of the projects from economic community development.
Got you. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. At this time, seeing no further questions, I will move down. Yes, sir. You got another question? Okay, you need a stretch. Okay. All right. We are going to take a 5-minute stretch break. So we'll come back on the 5. So 5 minutes. And Madam Clerk, set the timer. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, okay. All right. All right, next on our agenda is the current consent agenda. All right. Make a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
May I have a point of privilege, please? I want to go back to something the town manager mentioned. You mentioned a property on Main Street, ma'am? And the ARB, something about the ARB. Tell me about that property.
If you don't mind, I'll have Mr. Tabor tell you a little bit more about it.
Thank you. It caught my ear because I think I heard something that I wasn't expecting. So I want to go back to that.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and Council. The item refers to a proposal for a multifamily development on Main Street. It is located within the town's historic district and thereby has to get a certificate of appropriateness, and that is granted by the town's Architectural Review Board. Currently, we have 2 members appointed to the board, and a quorum is required for them to conduct business. So I believe we'll need at least 1 additional member, so we'll have a quorum, and they can conduct business and, review and hopefully approve the item.
So just honestly, my concern or what caught my ear was really not the membership of the ARB, because I'm hoping that if there is business to be conducted, that we don't hold up business owners from conducting business just because we don't have a quorum on a volunteer board. So I hope that that's not happening. But aside from that, my concern is, you said residential. Are we talking over there where what is currently the furniture store or something like that? Where are we talking exactly?
I think it's behind. There is currently a structure behind the store, just south of Colonial Street.
Okay, you said it's behind what we now know as the furniture store. So is that place that's already a residence and they're looking to make it multi-residential? Help me understand what they're looking to do there.
It's currently, I believe, a commercial structure.
Okay.
That would potentially be demolished and replaced with a multifamily development.
So do they have that? That's a mixed zone area right there then?
Yes.
And if they tear it down or what have you, whomever owns that, is that a by right use so they can just decide they're going to make it a multi-unit residential without coming before the council and the council making a decision on that?
It is a by right use, yes.
Okay, that's what I was not clear on. Ma'am?
If I may, Mr. Chair, in regards to the certificate of appropriateness is required to be approved by the ARB. It will not advance until we have a quorum. So I just want to make sure I put that on the record for you. So we do need another member in order for them to conduct business.
So how do we rectify that? Because what's concerning to me, as I've stated, is that any business progress being held up because we don't have enough volunteers. The ARB is a volunteer board. So that doesn't make sense to me that I can't do business in the town of Dumfries because you don't have enough volunteers. That's counterproductive to us being a business district, to us promoting business growth activities, et cetera. So how do we rectify that? Maybe that's a question for the attorney, because we have to figure that out. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Sandy, you want to weigh in?
Ms. Mayor, do you want me to?
No, we can come back with that because we want to move on with the agenda, but because that's a whole nother topic. All right.
Is it another topic? It's a part of her report.
I know, but we moved on. I gave you a point of privilege to ask to get clarity on the project.
I'm still looking for the clarity because I want to understand then what's happening with it. And so that now that it's on pause because we don't have an ARB, that's still a part of the same topic.
Madam Attorney, do you have a quick answer?
The quick answer is to appoint more members to the ARB.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. To the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Let's make a second on that, Mr. Mayor.
All right, it's been motioned and second. Was there any discussion on any items on the consent agenda? I just want to speak to and put an urge out. We have, there are 3 resolutions for federal community project funding on the agenda, and I think it's important to highlight it. The first one is one for the Quantico Creek flood mitigation. The other one is for Route 1 northbound underground utility conversion project. And the third one is for a Route 1 southbound underground utility project. And the biggest thing is we're requesting support for funding to bury the overhead power lines on Route 1, both north and south. And this isn't just an infrastructure project. It's a chance to significantly improve the public safety, to reduce the outage. Most of you saw the outage that we had back in January where the power lines fell. And this will open up kind of like new possibilities. And this council is very serious about Main Street revitalization and future growth. The other one that deals with the Quantico Creek efforts is about transforming this asset and continuing to fix the erosion and the environmental restoration of the creek. We already have secured letters of regional support, both from the Northern Virginia Transportation Authority as well as Prince William County Transportation Department, backing our funding, our federal funding request to help us pay to bury the power lines and to get additional funds for our things. But regional support is only part of the equation. We need all of our residents behind this too, right? And so we only got a few days. We got until Friday to get all of this in. So if you're watching, if you're sitting here following along, and you believe in these projects, and 1, burying the power lines, and 2, what's the other thing I said? Quantico Creek restoration. We want you to send in letters of support. You can email it here to the town of Dumfries. It could be simple as a few lines saying that you support the project and you want to see Dumfries invest in its future. The more letters that we have putting pressure on our congressional delegation to give us the money, the stronger our voice is when we submit this request. So tonight, once we take this vote, this moves us forward, but we'll only go as far as our community is willing to go with us. So let's take this vote and have a unified step forward, and let's bring the people of Dumfries with us. All right, any other discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Absolutely.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles? Aye. Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed. Thank you.
All right, next we move to our action items. Our first action item is a public hearing on the approval of an ordinance creating an economic development authority for the town of Dumfries. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. An ordinance creating an economic development authority of the town of Dumfries is the only ordinance we have scheduled for public hearing tonight. This ordinance is an entirely new regulation. It is also legally necessary for the creation of an economic development authority in Virginia. In addition to creating the Town of Dumfries Economic Development Authority, this ordinance lays out the policy purpose and benefits for having one in Dumfries. The ordinance also set forth the statutory powers of the EDA, the requirement for its board's structure, and it includes the board's reporting obligations to the town council. The Economic Development Authority is a tool given by the General Assembly to localities specifically to use to stimulate economic development activity within their borders. It is accordingly a good tool for a locality to have ready to use. But in order to do so, an ordinance must be first adopted. For this reason, I recommend the adoption of this particular ordinance, and this concludes my prepared remarks. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions on the remarks before we open up the public hearing? Okay, seeing no questions. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak at the public hearing about us creating an economic development authority?
No.
Okay. All right, seeing no speakers on this matter, I will now close the public hearing. All right. Any further discussion? Madam Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I actually had a question for our town attorney, just in terms of creating the EDA. When it was first presented to us, I did have some concerns and questions regarding the authority of the EDA, and ultimately, I just wanted to verify that they do not have unchecked authority. I did notice in the ordinance that it does say they have powers expressly given to them by the council, but is their power expressly given to them through the General Assembly, in which case, is there a legal statute that could, override the council's will, or what? I guess the short question, the simple question is, who do these people report to, and who is responsible for them, and where does their authority come from, and when can they, and if, heaven forbid, they take it, who can stop them?
Well, the last question is kind of broad, so I might have to follow up with you on that one. But they report to the town council. The state statute lays out their powers. And so hopefully council will not direct them or require of them anything that is in conflict with their exercise of their statutory powers, but we can address that as those things are laid out, either in a directive or if council wanted to further amend this ordinance. But right now, the powers that are set forth within the ordinance really track the language of the state code. And so, the General Assembly has determined by empowering this body in this way, that those are not unchecked powers per se. In terms of who will keep them in check, I think part of the challenge that would exist for this town council, as it does for many other local governing bodies, is to make sure that the people you appoint to the board of directors are people who are versed in the priorities of the town. They share the vision of the town that you have, and that they are willing to operate in a collaborative way to help stimulate economic development activity within the town. But ultimately, this will be a separate legal entity from the town. And so at some point, there will be a loss of control if that was the one thing that you wanted to maintain. But again, some of that is addressed with the quality of the people that you appoint to the board, and making sure that they share your vision for the activities that you think are best suited for the town of Dumfries. I think I answered most of your questions, but if I didn't, let me know.
You did. I did just wanted to follow up because just want to make sure I'm tracking and that I'm comprehending the document as it's presented. There is a provision where council can remove members in certain cases, or is this similar to the BZA where the council, once we do the appointment, there's really no more?
The state code lays out the grounds for removal, and so you would not be able to add to that. That's my opinion. You would be limited to those particular provisions.
Okay. All right. We're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions of the report? Okay. All right. Seeing none, make a motion that we adopt the Economic Development Authority.
A second.
Okay. Any, by ordinance, sorry, by ordinance.
Second, the ordinance.
Okay, she wanted to say the word ordinance. All right, any discussion? I did have some. Tonight's vote is more than just about creating a new board. It's about creating a new chapter for Dumfries. I support the creation of a local economic development authority because it's a step towards giving us a little more flexibility and focus when it comes to our growth. It's about having a team that can wake up every single day just thinking about how we can attract the right businesses, how we can invest in our community spaces, and how we can bring new places to life, like Main Street and like the waterfront. What excites me most about the authority is it's going to be led by members of our community. This is not something being done to Dumfries, it's something being built by Dumfries. We're putting the power to shape our future in the hands of the people who live here, who work here, and who could care about the town the most. This EDA gives us the ability to say, yes, we can move this project forward. Yes, we can support that small business. Yes, we can bring new life to our streets and public spaces. We've spent years asking what's possible for Dumfries, and this vote says we're ready to do that, to work to make it real. Let's not just talk about the Dumfries we want, let's build it together. Thank you. Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pete?
No.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed.
All right, next on our agenda is a public hearing to discuss and adopt our FY 25 and 26 all funds budget and our
looking at revenues and expenditures, and then the fiscal year 25-26 council workshop sessions. Just doing a quick recap of what was discussed during those meetings. So the proposed fiscal year 25-26 proposed operating budget calendar on March 4th through March 8th, we had council meetings, and we received requests for funding for nonprofit organizations. The council had meetings with both the town manager and the CFO. On March 13th and March 14th, we had community budget meetings. March 18th, we had a fiscal year proposed budget presentation, the first read. April 1st, we finalized the budget presentation, which is also the second read. We had a notice to the newspaper for the budget public hearing. April 3rd, we had another community budget meeting where we went to the community to present the budget there. And now April 15th, we call for a public hearing for the fiscal year 2025-2026 proposed budget. So it's giving you a quick overview of high level of what the revenues as the budget as amended, again, is compared to the initial budget that was presented to the town council by the town manager. If you look, that budget is all funds, total budget, all funds budget is $12,648,857. It's a reduction of $103 when compared to the initial budget was proposed by the town manager, fiscal year 2025-2026 proposed budget, which stood at $12,752,398. That's a 1% reduction. Most of the reduction took place in the general fund, which you see there as the sizable reduction. The revenues that took the most hit, which we reduced, was other local taxes, where we went from 9.1 to about $9 million. Now moving to what our council work session, moving to proposed expenditures as amended. As you can see, our general government, we reduced that typically by $126,000, and then the public safety grew by $14,000, followed by public works at roughly $5,000, and then planning boards and commission about $3,000. Just go into some high-level details of what were some of the proposed changes.
council's change and amended the police budget. We eliminated the lieutenant position. We created an accreditation manager's position. We added the 2% COLA to the eligible staff in the department. Town attorney, we added a new position called legal assistant / paralegal, which increased the healthcare, VRS, group life, and FICA. We increased office equipment and furniture to accommodate the new staff member, and then we also removed telecommunications account. All the telecommunications in all the various departments have been now centralized under the town manager's department as per the request of the town council. With the town clerk, again, the communications account, we added a 2% to all staff, and then we saw the subsequent increases in VRS group, and FICA. Also, town council eliminated the town communications account. Treasurer's department, again, eliminating the communications account, added a 2% COLA to all staff. Increased the 3% regional transient occupancy tax. We went from $75,000 to $80,000 to accommodate the increase in revenue that we will be getting from the local casino. The finance department, we eliminated the telecommunication account, added the 2% COLA to eligible staff in this department. Not every staff member in this department is eligible for the 2% COLA adjustment. Again, Department of Recreation and Civic Engagement, we added 2%. We also separated the special events and recreation program development into two separate lines. Created the event program is now $20K, and the special events was reduced from $215 to $130. Then the economic planning and community development, again, the telecommunication line, adjusting that, added a 2% to eligible staff. We slightly increased the dues and subscriptions, as in the original town manager's budget. We missed that there were some dues that were not there, but we increased it slightly, so you will see a slight increase to accommodate that. Same with Public Works. There was also a slight increase in the dues and subscriptions that were missed in the initial budget, but we were still able to include that in. We eliminated the telecommunications account again, and we added the 2% to all eligible staff. Today's the amended proposed operating budget, capital budget. It includes the splash pad and several other things requested by the council. So again, in conclusions, the revenues were reduced slightly. The town's tax rate will remain flat. The 2% COLA was added to the department budget for eligible staff. The town attorney has one new position, legal assistant / paralegal, and the police department has a new accreditation manager and not a lieutenant position that was initially introduced in the town manager's proposed operating budget. I want to thank you all for the opportunity to present before you and stand ready to address any questions.
Okay, council, any questions on the budget presentation? Okay, seeing none, do we need to go over the fee schedule or we're good? Fee schedule just we don't have to, okay, all right. So at this time, we will open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak on the budget?
We have one person, Kimberly Palacios. Did you want to speak on the budget?
Was that the vote which you spoke on earlier?
The public comment? Okay, all right.
Okay. So you did sign up. Okay, all right. All right. Seeing no comments on the budget, I will now close the public hearing. All right. Public hearing now closed. Councilman Pete. Okay, yeah, push your button. You ready? You excited? All right. We need two separate motions or one, Madam Attorney? Is this all one? Madam Clerk, what do you want? One or two? One motion. Okay, very well. Okay. All right, Councilman Pete, go ahead. You look like you was no. Oh. All right, I'm going to make the motion that we adopt the FY 25 and 26 all funds budget and the fee schedule. Second. All right, you can pick your second. by resolution and ordinance? Okay. All right, who's your second? Chair Pro Tem, all right. It's been motion and it's been second. All right, any discussion? Vice Mayor.
Yes, I am not going to vote in favor of tonight's budget presentation because I do not agree with we did not complete discussion in reference to the additional position being added to the town attorney department. And unless that is being pulled out separately for a decision to be reached or a consensus to be reached amongst the council, then I cannot support the budget as written. And I wanted that on the record before I voted.
Okay. Before I vote, this year's budget for me represents more than just numbers. It reflects progress. It reflects our priorities and our promises to the people of Dumfries. I'm proud to say that we have improved this year on our budget process in meaningful ways from the previous years. Not only have we made strategic investments, but for the first time, we've really dived down into adding our key performance measures to each department. That means our goals are now measurable. Our results will be trackable, and our residents will be able to clearly see how their town is delivering on its promises in the budget. Budgets are plans, but execution is what truly matters. What I'm most looking forward to is seeing this budget that we vote on tonight put into action. From improved service delivery to enhanced community programming, the budget really sets the standards on how we intend to operate with focus, with transparency and accountability. Our residents deserve a budget and a government that not only works hard, but it continues to work smart. And so one that listens, one that adapts, and one that delivers results that they feel in their everyday lives. So we're not just managing tax dollars here, we're managing the future of the town of Dumfries. And we're committed to providing the highest level of service to every resident, to every family and every business that calls this town home. So let's continue to move forward with clarity, confidence, and commitment. Thank you. Councilman Pete.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, out of respect to that comment that the Vice Mayor just made, we do have a lingering figure that's out there that hasn't been given any direction on, and I think it's close to about maybe $80,000 maybe. Do we, say again? Oh, yeah, something like that. I think we need to have some discussion on that, or we're just going to leave it in the town attorney's budget. What are we doing with that?
There's a motion and a second on the floor right now. We're going to take a vote on the current budget.
Is that for the entire budget, or, I mean, are we voting on the entire budget to leave that in the town manager's budget, or are we reducing that? Because to the Vice Mayor's point, we haven't finished the discussion on that, on what we were going to do with that secondary position for that. Does the town manager need that position, or does she not need the position? We don't have any clarity on that, sir. With that, I yield.
Madam Clerk, please repeat the question in the second, please.
The motion that's on the floor that was made by Mayor Wood is to approve the FY 25-26 all funds budget and fee schedule by resolution and ordinance, seconded by Chairperson Miles.
All right. Seeing no more discussion, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pete?
No.
Councilmember Fields?
No.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
No.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
Motion is passed.
All right, next on our agenda is a closed session. Do we have the language? Oh. Okay. The Town Code of the Town of Dumfries desires to go into a closed session, pursuit 2.2-3711 Alpha 1 and Alpha 7 of the Code of Virginia to discuss and consider personnel matters, including the assignment and performance of specific public offers, and to consult with legal counsel and receive briefings by staff pertaining to actual or probable litigation where such consultation or briefings in open meeting would adversely affect the negotiation or litigant posture of the town. That's my motion.
Second.
And second, any discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles? Aye. Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
We are now in closed session.
All right, we'll meet in the back room at 8:45. Use the bathroom. All right. Whereas council has completed its discussion in closed session, where everything that was heard, considered, or spoke about was only spoke about a resolution by which it was adopted that we went in according to Virginia Code 2.2-3711 Alpha 3712. All right. The only things that was heard, discussed, and considered were only done by the resolution by which we went into closed session. That's my motion.
Second.
It's been second. All right, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles? Vice Mayor Nickerson? Mayor Wood?
Yes.
We are now in open session.
All right. Any thing to report from closed session? All right, seeing none, this meeting is now adjourned.